Salatiel was grounded for 8 months by his parents due to his desire to pursue his passion, music. Today he is known as one of the biggest artists in Cameroon, and this due to his unwillingness to let go of what he loved despite the sacrifices he had to make along the way. We will be talking about all that, the challenges, the good, the bad, the ugly. Stay tuned. A few days ago, we did a video highlighting some of the international action Salatiel has been taking of recent. This all due to a decision he made in 2018 to focus on his career, unlike the previous years in which he principally dedicated himself to the growth of his label. Those years entailed him working with artists like Mr. Leo, Bless B, Sing, Askia to help them create and promote their tracks. That 2018 decision was followed by Salatiel dropping one of the greatest 2019 hits, Anita, then closely followed by his collaboration with Beyonce for the track Water on her most recent album. A win many Cameroonians considered a national win, not just for the Alpha Beta CEO. Nowadays, we see Salatiel meeting up with Davido, Satiso, Ice Queen, and so many other African big names. We see him being interviewed and performing worldwide, but this wasn't always the case with the High Man General. As we got to know from his manager Adebetran some months back in 2014, Salatiel was once pushed by an event planner and he almost fell in the mud. But booking Salatiel today is a dream come true for many event planners, and to get to this stage was a process which all began on the 26th of December 1987 when Salatiel Livenja Bisong was born in Tiko, southwest region of Cameroon. He grew up in a Christian home. His dad was a pastor and never considered or accepted a reality in which his son would become a musician, cause like many African parents, his parents believed becoming a musician equaled becoming a rascal, getting into drugs and women. So Salatiel took up the sciences and worked towards becoming a doctor. But things changed when he fell in love with music and began learning how to play the piano on a piano he drew on his table as he prepared to write the advanced level exams. Then he came across a real piano with a pianist whom he asked to teach him some notes which he practiced with his self-drawn piano at home. He also began writing songs and kept improving his piano skills while in medical school. As he fell deeper in love with music, Salatiel made the decision to drop out of medical school because he believed it held him back from focusing on his craft. A decision which didn't sit right with his parents, so in an attempt to punish him and make him change his mind, they grounded him for 8 months, a period he considered the darkest of his life. He had to cook, clean, and wasn't allowed access to any musical instrument. After this miserable 8 month period, Salatiel decided to go back to school, but not medical school as he was so far behind. He instead enrolled in the University of Boya to study zoology, something he wasn't pleased to do, but it was the only way he could get the freedom he needed to work on his music. In order to get more independence, he decided to move out of his parents' house, a period he recalls as very challenging, having to go some days without food or sleep, hustling so hard to support himself so he could keep doing what he loved. It was while at the university that Salatiel was invited by his brother to be the choir director. While in the choir, he met Mr. Leo and Bless B Sing, future artists under his level. Being part of a choir greatly helped Salatiel develop his skills. During an interview with Culture Master Online, he had this to say about the stage in his life. Working in the choir helped me a lot. The first time I was in the studio was with a gospel choir. I felt the desire to become an arranger, to do what the guys in the studio do, that is to put melodies on the songs. A few years after becoming a producer, Salatiel began working with some of the biggest names in Cameroon like Manu Dibango. According to Jewanda magazine, in 2007, Salatiel was working in the M1 studio, the then top studio in Boya. During this period, he will produce more than 1,000 songs for 100 different artists. In 2009, he emerged from behind the scenes to take part in the Music Star competition. In 2010, Salatiel created a group called The Trio, and they took part in the Nescafe Africa competition, a competition which aimed at finding musical talent in the continent. The Trio would then go on to win this competition, first place in Cameroon and second place in the continent. But they will unfortunately separate after the release of their first album. Salatiel later realized that his music, which was a fusion of Afrobeat and soul, was not easy to sell in the Cameroonian market. So in 2012, he moved to Europe to visit a friend and see how he could sell his music over there. Though he gained some popularity over there, he decided to move back home and build a foundation, as this was the way he realized to get the world to look at him and hear his music. And so he made the move in 2013, and in the same year created the Alpha Beta music label with a friend he met back in 2007, Mr. Mr. Leo. This new beginning was far from easy. The hustle was amplified, and after no significant results, Salatiel contemplated quitting music. During an interview with Culture Bene, he had this to say about this period of his life. In 2014, I told myself that if something concrete did not happen, then I would stop my career, because at the time I traveled a lot. I commuted between here and Europe, and I embarked on business so suddenly that the idea of leaving Cameroon to look for me elsewhere haunted me. Then things ended up changing. I won the MTN Make the Music contest. We started Mr. Leo's career, and it was the beginning of a new era for us. Yes, a year after the creation of the Alpha Beta label, and after more than 4 years of hustling in the music world, Salatiel had his big break with Fab Kolo, a song he initially wrote for Stanley Eno, who had just had a breakthrough single, Hempe. Stanley Eno turned down his offer, an offer which brought Salatiel the victory he needed to keep on pushing. Victory which gave him the opportunity to perform at iFest in 2014 alongside other big names like Don Jazzy, Tiwa Savage, Skills, Yemi Alade, Stanley Eno, Daphne, and Magasco. Then it was back to focusing on his label and his sole artist at the time, Mr. Leo, which led to the release of hit tracks like Igo Beta, On Va Gérer, making Mr. Leo and Alpha Beta a well-known and respected name in the music industry. Then after several years of writing and producing for other artists like Mr. Leo, Daphne, Loco, in 2018, Salatiel decided to focus on his growth. And in that same year, he released hit tracks like Weekend, Komsa featuring Daphne, and C'est la vie featuring Mr. Leo. Since then, it has been an upwards journey for Salatiel, not one without challenges though. I'm sure we know of his successes, and we are watching to see where the Hyman General's story takes us to next. Hope you enjoyed getting to know more about the Anita singer. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button. Till next time, it has been Ita on Chakara TV. We are craziness with a strategy.